Flooding. It's the #1 natural disaster in the U.S. today. Find out why everyone needs flood insurance, even if your home or business is not in a low-lying area. And wildfires. Florida has the second highest number of wildfires in the nation. Find out what you and everyone you know can do to help prevent wildfires. Then on a lighter note, we'll fill you in on how you can peruse the latest magazines and newsletters without a trip to the library or the doctor's waiting room for that matter. Those stories, special segments, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I'm your host, Amber Patterson, and I hope you stay tuned. Did you know that Florida has the second highest number of wildfires in the nation? Central Florida has had an extremely dry winter, and the rains we received last week did little to alleviate the drought. Normally, Volusia County has received about 10 inches of rain by April, but so far this year, there has been less than 4 inches of rainfall. Spring and early summer are the most active times for wildfires in Florida. All it takes is some dried vegetation, some strong winds, and a spark from a campfire or a bolt of lightning to ignite a wildfire. The 1998 wildfires destroyed 58 homes in the region and forced the evacuation of the entire population of Flagler County. Although fire experts do not expect a repeat of those extreme conditions, homeowners need to be prepared if a wildfire threatens their home.
The springtime is a great time to do your cleanup, and the reason being the foliage hasn't appeared on all the trees and the vegetation that's growing. So this would be a great time to trim back those, and that'll reduce the volume of refuse that you would have, which would be flammable anyway.
Firefighters also advise homeowners to eliminate flammable vegetation that touches the home and thin out trees and shrubs so there is 10 to 15 feet between the tree crowns. Prune tree limbs to a height of 6 to 10 feet. Mulch is highly flammable, and homeowners may want to replace it with gravel or rock.
What we've done is we've embraced a program called Ready, Set, Go. It's a national campaign, and it is an outreach program to educate the homeowners on what they can do to be fire-wise relative to the wildland-urban interface. And so much of Volusia County is green and looks beautiful, but there's a danger there. So the best thing we can do is help educate folks of those dangers. And that's, again, keeping 30 feet perimeter around your property, clearing up any of the ladder fuels that may be there, limbs hanging over the house and things like that. But it's general knowledge that we've been advocating for a while.
For more fire safety tips, you can visit volusia.org/fire services. Did you know that flooding is America's #1 natural disaster? Floods can cause more deaths and property damage than any other type of disaster. With hurricane season right around the corner, it's time to make sure your home is insured against flooding. Who needs flood insurance? Well, everyone. Anywhere it rains, it can flood. And you don't have to live near water to be at risk for flooding. All it takes is a few inches of water to cause major damage to your home and its contents. Pat White is the Volusia Prepares Coordinator with Volusia County's Emergency Management Division.
If you live in Florida, it can flood. A lot of people that live in Florida on the western side of the county seem to think that they live in a high area and that it can never flood at their home, but it can. It was proven during Tropical Storm Faye over in the DeBerry area. They were in a high area and it would never flood, but it was proven that it can flood under the right circumstances. So everyone needs to have flood insurance if you live in Florida. Your regular homeowner's insurance will not cover rising water.
Flood insurance is available through the National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP, for homes, condominiums, apartments, and commercial structures. According to the National Flood Insurance Program, flooding is the #1 most common natural disaster in the United States. There is a 26% chance of experiencing a flood during the life of a 30-year mortgage in high-risk flood areas.
Don't wait until it's too late. There's a 30-day waiting period when you purchase flood insurance for it to come into effect. You cannot get flood insurance if we have a named storm impacting our coastline.
Also, if a hurricane is within 500 miles of Florida, flood insurance policies will not be written. If you want to determine your risk for flooding, you can go to floodsmart.gov. You can type in your address and learn if your flood risk is low, moderate, or high. For more information about the National Flood Insurance Program, you can contact your insurance agent or you can just visit floodsmart.gov. The Volusia County Public Library System now provides access to more than 120 digital magazines through its partnership with Recorded Books and Zino magazines for libraries. Library card holders can view popular magazines including Consumer Reports, Good Housekeeping, Field and Stream, and U.S. Weekly with instant browser streaming and app-driven offline viewing. Spanish language magazines are also available.
We're excited to offer magazines now in the digital format available for our patrons to download to their home devices with their library card, and they'll be able to download magazines. We have databases that allow them to download electronic books, download audio books, download music, and now our latest offering is magazines. And what we've tried to do is, from those available, select the most popular magazines that our patrons check out on a regular basis. And this will just give them an additional format in which to check out magazines.
Zino provides a quick and easy way for library patrons to read digital copies of their favorite magazines. Using their Mac or PC, reading fans can access the library's catalog of selected digital magazines. Zino's unique digital platform recreates a magazine page for page, including full-color pictures. The platform is compatible with iPad, iPhone, Android Kindle Fire, and BlackBerry Playbook devices. Library card holders can access this new reference resource in the county's 13 public library branches and from home. To learn more about Volusia County's public library system, you can go to volusialibrary.org.
Hi, I'm Deb Denny's with the Volusia County Council, urging you to be a driving force for the arts. If you renew your vehicle registration and request a state-of-the-art specialty plate, $20 of the fee goes directly to support cultural programs right here in Volusia County. In recent years, license plate revenues have been used to restore artwork in the historic courthouse, host numerous public programs and workshops, and market the arts. Putting one of these plates on your vehicle shows your commitment to the arts and lets others know that Florida really is a state of the arts.
Today we join Michelle Coates for the Business Beat. Today Michelle is at Teledyne Oil and Gas, the 2012 Volusia Manufacturers Association Manufacturer of the Year.
I'm Michelle Coates with the Business Beat. We're here at Teledyne Oil and Gas, a local leader in exports.
Volusia County is the gateway to Central Florida's high-tech corridor. Larger than Rhode Island, Volusia County is home to many companies whose names are known worldwide. Among them are Teledyne Oil and Gas, Thompson Pump, Radon, and Ocean Design. We spoke to Volusia County Economic Development Director Rob Earhart about Volusia County exports.
Of exports across Florida, Florida manufactured goods have increased 142% since 2000. So you can see that it's part of our growing economy here in the state, and it's also an important, makes an important contribution to the overall state's economy. The exports in Volusia County, as reported by the Department of Commerce, exceed $420 million. So again, that's a significant contributor to our local economy.
Teledyne Oil and Gas, a longtime local manufacturer employing more than 350 people locally, was recognized as this year's Volusia Manufacturing Association Exporter of the Year.
We manufacture and develop electrical and optical connectors that actually can perform pass electricity, pass optical communications underwater. 60-65% of all the product we manufacture here in Daytona Beach will be exported around the world to oil fields such as West Africa, the waters off Norway, as far away as Australia, and the fastest aggressive market today is in Brazil off the coast of Rio de Janeiro.
In Volusia County, exports have grown 118% since 2005 to $421 million in 2011. Teledyne Oil and Gas contributed significantly to that statistic.
The numbers that Teledyne Oil and Gas provided as a company were impressive by themselves, but I think it's also important that people understand the breadth of countries that this particular company exports to.
There's a growing fraternity of Volusia County companies whose products are reaching global markets. Each company has its own approach to international sales and marketing. Some partner with the Volusia County Department of Economic Development and international trade events. Local, state, and federal programs designed to help businesses break into foreign markets are available.
The Department of Commerce reports that on average companies that export grow 15% faster and are 12% more profitable than companies that do not export. So again, if we have business owners who are looking to grow their revenue stream and are still very cautious about taking on that additional opportunity, it would be our pleasure to help them.
Businesses willing to send their products overseas can prosper and grow, and the government is ready to help with information, contacts, and financial assistance. It's all part of Volusia County government's mission to generate jobs through growth and expansion of Volusia County companies, both domestically and abroad.
We attract many international customers to our facility here in Daytona on a daily basis. And so in a previous career, what we used to do was put a flagpole out for every country that was visiting. So today, if you drive up an employee entering our campus now, we'll see the Chinese flag or the Japanese flag, the German flag, the Norwegian flag, and they will instantly know that there is a customer from that country in the building. And so when they meet that person, they'll have some idea of where he or she is actually coming from.
For more information about Volusia companies that do business internationally, or to join the ranks of exporting companies based here, call the Volusia County Department of Economic Development at 386-248-8048.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Michelle Coates with the Business Beat.
For more information about the Volusia Manufacturers Association, you can log on to www.vmaonline.com. And now let's look to health reporter Stephanie Strong for this message from the Volusia County Health Department about shelters for individuals with special needs during times of adversity, such as a natural disaster.
When and if a storm hits, Volusia County Emergency Management may find itself faced with opening shelters to protect residents. Here at Palm Terrace Elementary School in Daytona Beach, Florida Department of Health employees are getting plenty of practice for what to do when special needs shelters open up. Let's join the training.
My name is Patrick Forand, and I'm the safety officer. As of right now, we have 10 clients that have shown up that are evacuees, and they are currently registered in our system, and they have been taken back and sheltered from the storm. This has been a great undertaking that we have done here for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County, and I'm glad that we have such great partners that have come up to assist us with this.
My name is Ryan Williams. I'm the Operations Coordinator with Volusia County Emergency Management. And today we are conducting a special needs shelter exercise. In the event we have to evacuate portions of Volusia County, primarily for the potential hurricane, we would have to open shelters, which are actually our schools. So once the schools know that we are going to need that, they would shut down, and we will also have health department staff here as well as school board staff and the Red Cross involved to help manage the shelter operation.
And my name is Annette Martinson. I'm an area superintendent for Volusia County Schools, and we're here today at Palm Terrace participating in a shelter exercise. Volusia County Schools and the Health Department partners together to provide these exercises so that we're prepared in case of a storm. We want safe places for our community members to go.
Sheltering is often the most critical element in protecting populations during times of emergencies. Sheltering provides mass care for people who cannot safely remain in their homes due to an emergency.
My name's Linda Lignelli, and I'm the lead nurse today at Palm Terrace, and we're working with our trained, skilled nurses. It's going very well. We're processing the patients in, and our nurses are reassuring the patients that we have for this exercise.
I hope that we have learned a lot during this process so that when indeed a storm does come to Volusia County, the staff are prepared and ready to serve you as evacuees to our shelters.
Cots, bedding, and meals are provided. It's suggested you bring all medications, any special dietary items, necessary personal items. All shelterees should bring a caregiver since staff is limited. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
If you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can always log on to volusiahealth.com. And now let's turn the cameras to Community Information Director Dave Byron as he sits down to chat with Liz Hamilton of the Homeless Coalition.
Well, hi, Amber, and thank you very much. You know, homelessness is a social problem that confronts communities across America, Volusia County being no exception. Not surprisingly, with the economy being what it is today, the number of homeless people in our community is on the rise. Fortunately, there are several agencies working to address the needs of homeless people, the Volusia Flagler Coalition for the Homeless being one of them. Today, we'll get an update on the homeless situation in Volusia County with our studio guest, Lisa Hamilton. She's the Executive Director of the Volusia Flagler Coalition for the Homeless. Lisa, thanks for being with us. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and thank you for having me, Dave.
Absolutely. You know, we'd like to talk about this. It's a very important social subject in our community, as it is in other communities across America. Let's start off with some basic definition of a homeless person.
Sure.
How do you describe a homeless person?
Well, there is a federal and a state definition of homelessness that used to have some differences. In the last year, they were aligned. A person is homeless if they lack a fixed, regular nighttime residence, if they are sleeping in a place unfit for human habitation.
Right. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be out in the woods.
No. In a car, it could also, we have a lot of individuals, and we also have families in this county who are sleeping in tents.
Wow.
And if you are sleeping in a tent because you lack the ability to have an apartment or a home,
right,
then you are homeless.
And if I know we've talked about this in the past, but people that kind of bounce from living room to living room are also homeless.
Yes, we do consider that people, we call couch surfing is a common term used. If you're living in someone else's home and you're one argument away from being out on the street,
right,
or if you know that you're only going to be there for a couple of days and you really don't know where you're going to next, you are homeless.
Lisa, so, you know, the economy has been very tough. Yes. You know, I guess it appears like it's maybe starting to get a little better. But still, you know, from what I hear, there are a great number of homeless people in Volusia County. How many people do you think there are in Volusia that are homeless?
We've measured it a couple of ways in the last couple of years. We do a homeless count during the last 10 days of January. Every homeless coalition in the country does that. Our numbers have been consistently risen between 5 and 10%. That is consistent with the national trend in the growth of homelessness in the last 7 years.
So but you're saying the number of homeless people has been going up at 5 or 10% a year?
Per year,
wow.
Nationally.
Right.
Yeah. And Florida, New York, and California have the highest populations of homeless. Florida has the highest population of chronically homeless individuals, those who have been homeless for longer periods of time. In our county, we counted about 2,300 people who are sheltered and unsheltered, those living, you know, in the woods or out of doors or in cars, abandoned trailers, those kinds of things, or also living in either transitional housing or emergency housing provided to the homeless.
Well, how do you know what that number is? I mean, people don't go around with a sign and say, I'm homeless. So how do you know what that number is?
We have an army of volunteers that goes out for a 24-hour period once a year. We have a lot of dedicated people who are working in soup kitchens
Right.
and emergency shelters. The faith community is very involved in working in their local communities to identify the people who need help.
You know, and one of the things that just seriously touches me when we talk about it is the fact that we have a lot of homeless kids. And, you know, our school system has to deal with that, and I think they do a great job. But the number of kids in the school system that are from homeless families is a pretty staggering number.
I would say it's the most sobering statistic
Right.
that we can quote. Last year we had over 2,000 children who were registered as homeless across the school year, and that number has increased as dramatically as the number of homeless over the last 10 years, really. We're on track to have that number again.
Wow.
And this is during a time when actually the enrollment of students is decreasing in Volusia County schools. And so you know, it's the most dramatic indicator of the crisis that families are experiencing.
So the crisis that you're talking about, you know, the numbers rising 5 or 10% a year, is this economic based? I mean, what's the reason for this?
It is economic based. We ask people during our point in time count, why are you homeless? What do you need to end your homelessness? And overwhelmingly, you know, 70 to 80% of them say, I need a job. I need steady employment.
Is Florida being, I guess, as you said, the state with the most chronically homeless people, is that because of the weather here? I mean, why is Florida the...
That is one reason. People are able to survive during a good part of the year out of doors. And we have an economy, we did have an economy that supported people working more part-time.
I see.
So for a period of time they may live in a motel, they may have an apartment for a short period of time, and then when those construction and retail jobs disappeared, that group of people no longer could obtain work and could obtain temporary or short-term kind of housing. You know, they were living unstably housed, but housed most of the time.
Right.
And now that group of people is living homeless most of the time.
And we hear, you know, my office is right next to the Veteran Service Office here at, in DeLand at the county office, and I see the veterans coming in for benefits that they are entitled to, and you see a lot of homeless veterans as well, and that's a very sad statistic as well, I think.
Yes, we estimate that 20 to 30% of people who are homeless, individuals, single people who are homeless, are veterans.
Right.
And because of that, the federal government has really put out some very useful resources for us. We have vouchers for veterans where we can provide housing subsidies for them. We have Salvation Army was awarded a national grant. It's supportive services for veterans with families. They have wraparound services. They can help families immediately get them off the street. And it can be the families of veterans or the veterans themselves. And that has been a tremendous help to prevent homelessness and also to end homelessness for veterans.
You know, we tend to think of homelessness as an urban problem, you know, and a lot of people, I think think that the problem is basically a Daytona Beach problem, but that's really not accurate. I mean, from what I know from talking to you and others, the homeless problem is a countywide issue.
It is very much a countywide issue, and in some ways, because people are able to hide in the woods or stay out of the way in the rural areas, you would be surprised at the number of people who are living homeless in the rural areas.
Right.
Hundreds of them.
So with all of that having been said, what are we doing about this? I mean, are we making any progress?
Well, you know, it is a very serious situation and a very sad and sobering situation. But we are blessed in this county to have a tremendous number of homeless housing providers. We have 8 agencies that actually provide housing, emergency shelter and temporary and permanent housing for people with disabilities. We have almost 200 beds or units available to people, and of those programs, you know, 70 to 80% of people who come into our programs leave to a permanent housing situation. So we do a good job with the resources we have.
Right.
What we need is more coordination to prevent people from entering into homelessness, and then maybe to sustain them longer when they're when they've come out and gotten on their feet. But we have we have a commitment now to do a better job of coordinating services.
I see. Yeah, I think you were saying that before we started taping, is that, you know, to get as much efficiency out of all the agencies as we can really is important when you have a scarcity of resources and a number of clients that are on the increase. Are you trying to link homeless people with like job services or you know, job training or that sort of thing?
Yes. Of course, we have Goodwill Industries and Workforce Development in Volusia County, who are, you know, on the ground working with everyone and have good resources and good training programs available. We have a program called iDignity that is a free identification program that assists people to gain ID. Frequently when you experience the crisis of homelessness, you lose your identification, you lose papers, birth certificates, those things. And now it's not so easy to get all of your paperwork in order. Frequently people need assistance. That was kind of a missing piece in our coordination system. We are implementing that countywide this year. I've seen a greater commitment to homeless prevention. I think, and we all know the old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Right.
That's true in the homeless community as well. And so we now have Food Brings Hope is providing food as a homeless prevention measure countywide. Halifax Urban Ministries, Second Harvest, there's a lot of new coordination effort going into that. And then we're looking to garner new resources to increase the housing, particularly that emergency level housing that's available to people.
So if there are people out there that maybe want to help, maybe they want to give some money, or maybe they want to volunteer, donate some time or whatever, are you available to do that, or can people do that?
We have a website. It's www.vfcch.org, or you can call us at 386-279-0029.
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you very much for sharing the information with us. A very important subject in our county, as it is across America. Seems like things are going pretty well, all things considered, I guess.
It's very difficult circumstances, but you know, we have wonderful people who are coming to help.
Our guest today, Lisa Hamilton, the Executive Director of the Volusia Flagler Coalition for the Homeless. And with that, we'll go back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about our program, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org. You can also watch the show online. Just go to volusia.org and click on the News tab to find us. And did you know you can view the County Council meeting calendar there too? You'll find out about meeting dates, activities, special events, topics of interest, and how you can participate. And last but not least, we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. We'll see you next week.